Hey guys, it's Mia here, and welcome back to another show review slash movie review. Now, I'm going to be talking about this anime, Cardcaptor Sakura. But before we get into that, I just want to warn you that there will be spoilers for this show in the review because most of what I want to talk about comes out of season 2. So if you have not seen this show yet, I recommend you do so before you come back and watch this. So with that out of the way, and assuming anyone that doesn't want spoilers is gone, let me talk about the characters. Now, I don't know how I want to talk about these characters, because I have a lot to say about a few of them, so I'm just going to try to talk about the ones least relevant to the story to the ones most relevant to the story. So we have Sakura's brother, Toya. Now, Toya has powers throughout the show. He has like psychic abilities and the ability to tell when someone is magical. And I think it's funny how he has this running gag with Kiro that Kiro tries to play like a stuffed animal, but because of his powers, Toya knows that Kiro is actually alive. So he just sits there like panicking, sitting as still as possible, while Toya stares him down. I think that was cute. But other than that, I feel like they didn't do very much with Toya's powers. There were things throughout the show, but they were very few and far between where something with Toya's powers actually came up. I feel like they could have done more with Toya's powers. Eventually, I ended up feeling like they literally just existed in order for him to be able to give his powers to Yukido, or Yukido's true form, Yu, so that he could stay alive. And don't get me wrong, that was a touching scene. Like, he was willing to sacrifice a part of himself to keep Yu and Yukido alive. But other than that, I feel like they should have explored his powers a little more. Then there is Mei Ling. At first, I didn't really like Mei Ling because of how clingy she was to Lee, or Xiaoran Lee, because I do not like clingy characters. I really don't. It just gets kind of annoying and overbearing, and they're constantly interrupting by clinging onto this character or that character. But as she progressed, she turned out to be a really good friend to Sakura and the rest of the group, and she is a tough person for not having any magic. She is always right there in the fray with the other characters, and that is certainly heroic on her part. Now, then there is Tomoyo. I don't want to say that I don't like Tomoyo, because I do like her as a character. I guess what I should say is I don't like her behavior. There is a difference between being someone's best friend or a love interest and being completely obsessed. And I feel like Tomoyo's friendship with Sakura ends up becoming more of an obsession. I mean, she is constantly shoving her camera in Sakura's face, even though it clearly makes Sakura so uncomfortable. And I personally had a friend like that, so I can understand how Sakura feels about constantly being taped, whether she knows it or not, whether she wants to or not, or clearly if she's uncomfortable with it or not. I mean, I get that Tomoyo likes to make film, but there's a time and a place, and it seemed like she only ever wanted to film Sakura when there are much more variety of things that she could be filming, and that's something I really didn't like. Then there is Yukido slash Yu. Now, at first I'm like, how did I not realize that Yukito was this you that everybody was talking about? And it's kind of cool to see, like, the split personality between the two, like them having to hide from Yukito but not from you, at least until later, that is. But I almost bawled my eyes out thinking that both that Yukito was going to disappear, because Yukito is so freaking sweet, and he's just like a big brother to Sakura, even though they're not related. And he's just such a sweetheart of a character and a person. And just to see him go through that of Sakura not having enough magic to keep you and Yukito alive, so them slowly fading and then constantly passing out because they're so exhausted, was so freaking sad. And I was just like, I just hope she gets stronger. But like I said, that's when Toya gave Yukito his powers, keeping him alive. So yay, that's good. But still, I felt like they could have done more with Toya's powers than that. Then there is Lee. Lee, at first, is competitor against Sakura for the cards, but he slowly gets to have this little crush against Sakura. And can I just say, his little crush is so darn cute. I mean, I know they're only in elementary school in this series, but I mean, come on, it's so cute. Little kid love is just so cute because they have no idea what love is. I mean, really, to any of us, but I mean, it is just so adorable because he always gets so shy and he starts blushing and then he freaks out because he's like, oh, why am I thinking about her? And it doesn't happen like instantly like most shows do. It develops over time because Lee realizes how strong of a character Sakura really is, and that's what he grows fond of. And it's just so sweet the way he's so protective of her and the way he's always there to help her when she needs it. Now, I'm going to talk about Sakura herself real quick before I actually get into the villain of the show. So like I said, Sakura is in elementary school at the start of the series, so she is a little kid, and she ends up one day stumbling upon this book that has all these cards in it, and these cards are kind of like tarot cards. That's what they're designed like, but they're called Clo cards. And as she goes to find them, she accidentally unlocks the book that the cards are in, and they scatter everywhere. So then she has to be charged with finding these cards and bringing them back together. And she does that over the course of the series, and they keep it up. And then this is where I started to get annoyed. So after Sakura ends up collecting all of the cards, she's like, well, we're done. We're good. There's nothing to do now. But then she figures out that she has to start changing the cards from Clo cards to Sakura cards, because now, after proving herself worthy of being the new master, the cards belong to her, so she has to change them. And this is also why Yukito/Yu starts fading away, because he's now relying on Sakura's magic instead of Clo's magic, who is the original creator of the cards. Unlike Hiro, who is the guardian, he is based on the sun, which carries its own magic, where the moon, which Yukito is based on, has to reflect people's energy and people's powers. So Hiro doesn't have to worry about it like Yu does. And so, being the new master and having all the cards, she's like, well, how do I change them? And that's when Ariel shows up, or Clo. I mean, they don't really try to hide the fact that he's Clo Reed because they tell it to you all the time. And I'm just sitting here thinking, how many times is something this boy touched going to attack you before you realize he is up to something? Like, as many times as he touches something, gives it to Sakura, and then it freaking attacks her, they still don't put two and two together. And they're constantly like, oh, I sensed Chloe Reed, who's the original creator of the cards. But then Kiro and you are like, that can't be possible because he's dead. You're sensing him, the person that just handed you the thing, that suddenly is attacking you, and you still don't put it together. And half the time, I'm like, what is your goal here? Because I don't get you. Are you trying to help her transform the cards? Which was what I was thinking, and that ended up being the case. But as I kept watching, I'm like, why would he attack her if he wants her to be the new guardian? And why would he attack her and then save her right after she transforms the cards? I got it, but it still didn't make any sense. There's a way you could have done that without having to attack her. But as the show went on more, I realized that's how it was, and that's what was happening. But I think they could have handled his character a little better, because he was not very well handled. And he was starting to frustrate me, because I'm like, why are you attacking her? There's gotta be a better way than this. And you always say, oh, I'm sorry for making your life difficult, or this or that or that or this. And I'm just like, you could have not attacked her. And so Chloe was reincarnated. So he really did die. And he brings with him another character like Kiro called Spinner. And honestly, I really like Spinner's design a little bit more than Kiro's. I think Kiro looks a little overdone, but I think Kiro is really adorable, and it's so sweet how much he does care for Sakura, even before she was technically his master. They're just so cute, and I think that their relationship was really well handled, and you just gotta hide the sweets from Kiro. That cat, that lion, he can eat them all before you can blink. He's just so adorable. And I really thought this show was adorable. Although the one thing that I started to notice, I don't know if they had a big budget for voice actors, but it seemed to me like the voice actors were repeated through a lot of the characters. And that kind of got a little distracting, because it was like, they're the same voice actors. If I look away from the screen for a second, I'm going to think one of the other characters is talking. But I really enjoyed this show. And I don't know how this show passed me by, because it came out in 1999 in America. And I'm like, how did I not see this show before? And honestly, I was thinking about it earlier, and it kind of reminds me of a mix between Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Because she's got to catch all the monsters. Like, gotta catch them all. And then she has to use the monsters out of the cards to fight. And I was like, it's kind of like a mix between Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And a magical girl anime. And it's just so adorable. Sakura is such a sweetheart. All the characters are well done. Even the ones I didn't really care for, which were Mei Ling at first, and I said it before, Tomoyo. I thought she was a good character. I just didn't like her strange obsession with Sakura. Well, that's my thoughts on the Cardcaptor Sakura. I plan on watching the Cardcaptor Sakura clear card. That is a mouthful. And I think that one came out in 2017. So I plan on watching that, and I might review it. And it's not a reboot. I looked it up because I'm like, if it's a reboot, I don't even want to bother watching it because it's just going to rehash the same thing. It's actually a sequel series, so I'm really excited for Sakura Clear Card. hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, guys.